Hey there, everybody. It's 3 o'clock Eastern on a Wednesday here from New York City. Welcome to the Strategy Hacker live stream. I'm Shelly Palmer. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day today. I am so happy to be here. Please check in on chat. Let me know that you're here. Hello, Joey from New Jersey. And hey there, Simon Applebaum. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. I need to make that bigger so I can see everybody, and I can, which is fantastic. So welcome to the Strategy Hacker live stream. We are going to have all kinds of great stuff to talk about today. It's been it's been actually a very busy news week, and we should probably jump right in. Now, all of you know that chat is where it's at. So for everybody that's here and everybody that's watching and listening, we're on YouTube Live. If you can find the chat client, these are live and you can chat with everyone. Hey there, Justin, how are you? Welcome, Dan Cole. Glad you're here. Please tell me who you are, where you are, and of course, how the weather is always good. And you might tell each other a little bit about what you do so that you guys can all interact. Robert, welcome. Stephen, welcome from Toronto. Always good. Hello from the Bronx Zoo. That's fantastic. I'm assuming that's on a handheld. David Houle, welcome. And Mark Mitchell, welcome. We're so happy to have everybody here today. What a busy news week. As you know, we have been talking long and hard about crypto and NFTs this week. Aldo, I have a compressor in line, don't I? That is an interesting question, Aldo. Yes, in a manner of speaking. It's not the compressor you think it is. It's a really fascinating thing I'm doing here. Two things actually are happening at the same time. There is a Waze set it and forget it because I'm lazy. And then there's another Wave NS, there's an NS1 noise reducer because I've got a bunch of computer fans going here. So yeah, we got a little bit of both going on. So Aldo, well, good ears, well done. Hopefully it's not too terrible. I don't really want to mix this by hand if I have a choice. David from Denver, welcome. Howie Schwartz, always a pleasure from the Hudson Valley. And yeah, what an interesting, crazy week. So look, I want to jump right in today. Again, please ask your questions in chat because that's where it's happening. And please also tell each other where you are, a little bit about what you do. And of course, as much as I want you to talk to me, I'd love you to talk to each other. So that's sort of how this all works. Jumping right in here today, let's talk a little bit about Tesla. They, as you know, Elon is really into crypto. That's his thing. He's really into it. And they've just launched a token that represents stocks, Tesla stock. So you can now get a tokenized Tesla stock, I guess is the best way to call it. It's not a cryptocurrency. You can buy, sell, and trade. You can settle your transactions in Tesla tokens, which is pretty impressive. Why would you want to do that as opposed to through a normal, ordinary process? That is a really great question. One to which I don't have a great answer. You know, Elon's a funny guy and he likes to do what he likes to do. And so, yeah, if you guys have a little more insight into, you know, Elon's thing, that's all. Maybe, you know, you got something that you know that I don't know. But as far as I can tell, there's no actual reason. It's just something he wants to do. So yeah, God bless. We love Elon. The thing that scared me more than anything this week, I don't scare easily. You know, I don't get scared about bad guys. I don't get scared about the hackers. I don't get scared about, you know, boogeymen that go bump in the night. This scares me. For those of you who do not know what this is, China just started testing a stablecoin that's pegged to the Yuan. That's their currency. So this is really impressive to me. And I want everyone to think about this deeply. A cryptocurrency done the original way, the way that Bitcoin was done. And I'm just using that as a non-technical term because you don't need to do it that way, but just a fungible token. It can be anonymous, but it doesn't have to be, because by the very nature of what it is, every transaction is written on a blockchain. The Chinese government owns the blockchain. The Chinese government is creating a stablecoin, a digital version of their currency. At some point, they get to outlaw paper money. And all there is Chinese crypto. They know how much money you have. They know every transaction you do. There are no more tax returns. There's just taking the tax money out. There's no more fees that you have to go get permits for. The money just comes out. And if they feel like canceling you, like, you don't have any money anymore. Done. Stick a fork in it. It's over. This is like Orwell on steroids. I don't know. I read this. I got chills. I didn't sleep very well the night I read this, which was earlier in the week. This one scares the hell out of me. And I think, it's probably unlikely to happen in a democracy. There's a lot of cash in the world. A lot of people use cash. There are a lot of people that don't have bank accounts. The unbanked is a target audience for all of the low-end banking people. And even some high-end banking people are thinking long and hard about the unbanked people who don't have bank accounts. There's a world of people who only operate in cash. And then there's certain things that, let's just say you would only pay for in cash if you had a choice. I'm not going to say what those things are, but yeah. Anyway, China issuing its own crypto. Other federal banks, other state banks, central banks are getting in this game. It's going to be fascinating. A world. Now, I don't know that they're going to, how far they're going to go with this thing, but what's a government? The military, information, and currency. Control those three things. You got a government. May not be the biggest government, but you got a government. If you control currency, the information, and the military, information and currency, you got a government. So anyway, this scared me to death. And yeah, I just thought we should talk about it. You should read about this. I'm not doing it justice, and I don't want to go into like a big financial analysis, which I sat down and did. You can't speculate in this currency, right? It's pegged and it's not going to float, and you're not going to, you can buy it, or you can buy the paper version, or you can buy it from a money, there's no speculation here. This is not going to be an investment vehicle any more than the regular, whatever you think about China as a exchange currency. They try to play money games as best they can. So, you should really talk to someone who is fully steeped in the way that markets are manipulated with currency prices internationally. But on analysis, this is not an opportunity for anyone. This is, except for totalitarian governments to control their people in a way that they don't now. So that's got me thinking. What else? Oh yeah, we have to talk about this a little bit. Apple and Epic are in court, as you know. Epic, given a choice, would have Apple open up their app store and allow side loading of apps and allow other app stores, and it's never going to happen because the security in the iPhone wouldn't allow. I mean, you just can't do it. Some of the pleadings and the briefs from the lawsuit were put online this week. And the argument that Epic had made, one of them, which I just shook my head about, was they found some emails from a few years back where senior executives at Apple are saying, I don't think we should make iMessage for Android. It wouldn't be good for us. And Epic is using this to say, see, Apple's using their monopolistic power to prevent, they're forcing moms and dads to buy their kids iPhones as opposed to buying them Android phones because everyone's hooked on iMessage. Seriously, folks? Seriously? This just made me laugh. It just made me laugh. I've got some Cryptocurrency ticker. I've got a cryptocurrency ticker going about some cryptocurrency prices. They're the latest ones. I think they're delayed 15, 20 minutes, but crypto is going to be a big focus today. So if you're not into crypto, this might be a good time to write me a text message and tell me what you want to talk about, because to me, the story of this week is the crypto bubble, the NFT bubble, what it means for creators, what it means for charlatans, what it means for the unaware, what it means for the savvy. And then there's some great uses of this stuff too. Simon Applebaum brings up a really important point. Simon, thank you. Simon's just said that two massive Spanish language powerhouses merged this week, Univision and Televisa. And that's true. They did. A while back, Wade Davis, the former CFO of Viacom, with a team of venture and private equity people, money people, bought Univision. It's a company that we're very familiar with at the Palmer Group. Love those people. They're spectacular, spectacular group of people. They've had some challenges. Their biggest challenge was that Telemundo, which is owned by NBC Universal, has been doing narco dramas and fantastic television. I mean, really good TV for a while. And Univision had a programming deal with Televisa in Latin America. And they were doing telenovelas and stuff that was a little tamer, and the programming wasn't as good. And then there was an epic battle for rights to soccer, or what, football outside of America, but soccer. And Univision gave it up. They didn't want to pay the money, or couldn't. And so they lost their World Cup soccer, which is as important in the Latin American markets and also for Spanish language television here in the United States as American football is to us. I mean, as goes soccer, their football, so goes their channels. And so they lost their edge in sports programming at Univision, and they had a big programming problem. This got solved when Wade and team came in and purchased. And it makes all the sense in the world. They get a ton of their programming from Televisa. Most of their primetime programming is based on a content deal with Televisa. So this deal makes all the sense in the world. Yes, Simon, thank you. It's SoftBank and Google. I didn't want to call out. There's another individual company too, actually. And Wade's a great guy, very smart. Wade Davis, I know a really long time. Super, super smart guy who he's doing. They had an amazing sales team, an incredible sales team over there led by Steve Mandala. He left the company after it was sold, and they brought in Donna Speciale. Donna, who formerly of NBC and formerly of Turner and formerly of Turner. She's a powerhouse. So great sales team. They're going to fix their programming. They got the cash they need thanks to Wade and the financial people he brought in. I think the future is very, very bright. You got to ask yourself one question about Univision and Telemundo. In the United States, where we have a lot of Spanish-speaking families, Spanish as a first language, Spanish as a second language, we have parents and grandparents who are first-generation immigrants into the United States who are predominantly Spanish language first, and then their kids or grandkids that are truly bilingual. So the question is, how does the family identify? How assimilated are they from an advertiser's point of view, not culturally, but from an advertiser's point of view? How do they perceive themselves? And how are you going to target that audience and do a better job, and here's the rub, than the social media organizations, specifically Facebook, who can just instantly carve out that audience? Boom, one shot. And yeah, there's an emotional communication. Television is an awareness medium. And Televisa, certainly, if you are a Spanish language household where your ancestral home is in Latin America. That's really where the Televisa brand is the biggest. And there's something amazing about being able to watch, back home TV. But they definitely, both Telemundo and Univision, both the Spanish language powerhouses here in the United States, have their work cut out for them because there's plenty of competition. I've seen stats. I don't know if I believe them. I've seen several brand books. I've seen several stats that talk about Spanish being the language that's predominantly spoken in North America by 2050. I don't know if that's true or false, and I don't know what demographics to believe right now, because pre-pandemic we had a whole set of assumptions. There were assumptions about people gravitating towards major metros. Everyone was leaving the country in droves, and there were all kinds of people asking all kinds of questions about the future of big cities, the future of the countryside, culturally, how people are going to assimilate. Globalization was a concept that people talked about a lot. I don't know. I don't know. Right now, what we do know is that we've got life expectancy in the United States is, depending on the audience, Black, Hispanic, Caucasian, you're 1 to 3 years shorter in lifespan because of the number of people who have tragically passed away because of the pandemic. You've got people migrating out of the cities in a way and in a volume we've never seen. I don't know that if you move 90 minutes out of New York City, that when it's time to come back full time, assuming that happens, you're either going to be able to sell your house and move back in, or you're going to be willing to do 3.5 hours of commuting every day. So what's the work from home commuting schedule? How does that work out culturally? How do cultural centers form? What does the internet have to do with that? How will consumers behave? There are far more questions right now than answers. And so I'm taking with a grain of salt all demographic advice and everything I saw pre-pandemic, because the pandemic has had a massive impact on the way we live our lives and how we are, things we believe right now that are just, we believe we're going to do. Never going back. Yeah, you're never going back till you do. So let's watch this play out. Right now, the biggest issue for all Spanish language television is that Spanish language television has competition from predominantly English speaking first organizations that have a better way to target a bilingual household or a bicultural household than the traditional television business does. And it's going to be really interesting. The whole thing's going to be really interesting. Simon, I see your question about what Telemundo and Univision will ultimately do. I think time will tell. One of the things that's true about the Univision acquisition is that you have a team of brilliant people. And as you say, Donna Speciale is a powerhouse. She is on a tear. And by the way, and yeah, Simon, you're right to point out, the previous general sales manager there, Steve Mandala, he was able to make sales that human beings can't. I mean, this guy was a machine, literally just a machine. Incredible sales guy who really got it done. I mean, he just really got it done. Something else, while we're on the subject of the media business, yeah, I'll put this back up. So, the broadband plan is part of this big $2 trillion infrastructure package, right? Everybody knows that. And it's a political football, and we've got all kinds of partisan politics around it. I heard some Republican official the other day talk about how bridges aren't infrastructure and roadways. I'm like, okay. And that the internet's not infrastructure and schools aren't infrastructure. And it's like, I couldn't even understand where they were coming from. So it's become a political mess. But inside this $2 trillion political mess is $100 billion carved out for broadband infrastructure. And we've talked about this in the past, and I talk about it a lot. There's nothing we need more in America than for everyone to have the opportunity to excel in the digital world, to be able to join the 21st century, to be able to be educated in the 21st century, to avail themselves of 21st century tools, technology, the speed of information. I don't know if faster access to information makes us better communicators, but it makes us faster communicators. And certainly if you need to learn now, if you're in school, if you need to do business now, if you don't have a very significant data component, which is 100% digital to your business, you're at a huge disadvantage. And so good broadband for everybody that needs it, which is everybody, that's really important. And it should be important to you. It's important to everybody. So at the end of the day, this plan, the opening, as I told you when I read it a couple of weeks ago, the opening paragraphs are amazing. They brilliantly articulate the problem. I mean, brilliantly. And then this thing goes off into some bizarre political mess. Well, I know it must be very good for consumers, the way this bill is written. I mean, really good. Why? Because every telecom and every ISP hates it. They literally hate it. There have been articles written about it. My SMS my text messaging has just been blowing up all week. I have received, this is not an exaggeration, 35 text messages from people who wanted to voice their strong feelings and get my take on just, how bad this is for big corps and how great it is for consumers. So yeah, I don't know if this thing's going to see the light of day. I really don't. I don't know if I don't know if it's going to make it. I hope they change it a little bit. I thought big corporations were going to like it because it looked like a lot of handouts, and it looked like they could either decide to do like 25 by 3 or 50 by 10 and not have to be forced to put gigabit Ethernet in the hinterlands where it'll really cost them money. But no, they hate it, which means it's awesome. So hopefully some version of that, the part they hate and the part we love, is gonna make it through the night. Again, you're watching Strategy Hacker Livestream. I'm really happy you're here. The chat is where everything happens here. So please tell me who you are, tell me what you do, and ask your questions, and of course interact with one another. Simon Applebaum is boldly texting where no one goes before. Simon's one of the world's foremost experts on pop culture television and the television business. You ask him a question, he's going to know it, and he's on chat right now. There's a whole bunch of really smart people here. David Hool's an incredible futurist, good point of view on a lot of things, really good point of view. So you're in the presence of greatness. Ask some questions. You're going to get, there's lots of great people on the chat that I see. So yeah, take advantage of it. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. One of the things I'm really interested in this week and last, and we touched on it a little bit last week, is this emerging creator class, an empowered creator class. What? Looks like the ticker froze. I'm sorry. That's sad. It looks like it's moving here, but you never know. Yeah, the empowered creator class, it's kind of a new thing. There have been creators around forever. People create stuff all the time. And people sing in the shower. Does that make you a creator? I don't know. People make videos on TikTok or they post stuff on Twitter. Everybody does all that stuff. But it's hard to make a living. There have always been gatekeepers. And over the years, there have been a lot of tools that have come out. I'm going to tell you a funny story about this. And you let me know, Joey, if this ticker's frozen. And if it is, we'll make it go away. It looks like it's moving. Years ago, I'm going to date myself, High 8 videotape cameras came out. Remember High 8? High 8 video cameras, small tape, very high quality for the time. We were coming off of VHS, and Betamax had already died. We were coming off of VHS. Professionals were using a beta tape back then. They were using 1-inch still. Digital tape was just starting. Digital videotape and digital audio tape was just starting. And High 8 emerges. And it's a format that's amazing. There's an S video out, so the signal is really good. There's you didn't have to use composite outputs anymore. Those old RCA connectors, you could use component out through a S video connector, and it was cheap. $1,000 bought you an incredible camera, good lens, 10x zoom, and as much footage as you could make. And I was in love with this format. in love with it. I don't know if any of you know the name Fred Seibert. Fred Seibert, the inventor of Fairly Odd Parents, the second or third employee at Nickelodeon. I'm pretty sure he was one of the on the team that created SpongeBob. He's been in the kids' television business forever. One of the most creative people you're likely to meet. Good guy, really good guy, and so whip smart. Fred's incredible. Fred and I are on a panel together. This goes back, it's got to be 35 years now, right? I do this whole thing I just did for you. It's new, it's exciting, it's little, it's cheap. It's going to empower everyone to do all this great stuff. They're going to do incredible stuff. The world's going to change. It's going to be amazing. Fred listens to my whole thing. And I'm going for it. Like I am, a kid in a candy store, and everyone's going to make videos and movies and TV shows. And it's like, for the first time ever, consumers, this is not high 8. This is not, meaning Super 8 rather, film. This isn't like you have to get a 16mm camera and primes and it's awesome. And Fred waits for me to finish my insanity. And he says, yeah, Shelly, you're projecting. I'm like, huh? Come on, Fred, this is democratization of production. He goes, BS, man. No, people suck. Most people just suck. And I was like, come on, that's not true. He goes, yeah. How many people in this? And he decided on this 200 people in the audience. He goes, how many people in this room have ever made a movie? Tried to make a movie? Anything longer than just shooting your kid on a soccer field? No one raises their hand. Then one guy sheepishly puts his hand up like this. Fred goes, you, okay, great. So what'd you do? So, well, I tried to make like a little documentary. Well, what happened with it? Well, it sucked. And everybody just breaks out hysterical laughing. And that was it. It was like, it's like, wow, it's like, oh, it's over. I don't know. It's like over. So I don't know. That was my introduction to the democratization of technology for consumers. Most people suck. Thank you, Fred Seibert. I don't believe that, by the way. I believe that everyone performs according to their gifts and everyone has something to offer, but not everybody's as motivated as, let's say, I am to make stuff. Doesn't mean you can't, just means you don't. Why don't you? It's hard. Like there's buttons to press and things to do. And, it's like, oh, I need a sound effect. But you got to have it at your fingertips. You have to know how to program. You have to go get it. You have to sample it. There's like stuff you have to do. It's like stuff. And if you don't know how to do the stuff, then you don't really know how to express yourself with stuff. So you don't. Doesn't mean you can't, just means it's hard. And over the last 5 to 7 years, we've seen a group of people who have emerged as solo creators, and they're able through YouTube or Twitch or TikTok or you name your platform to earn a living. Not a great living, some do, but not a great living, just a living. But over the last, I'm going to call it 12 months from the pandemic to now, they have not had a choice. Everybody, no matter what their skill level, if you're a musician, you couldn't go out and play. Singers couldn't go out and sing. Actors could not go out and act. There's no place to do your thing. And everybody decided if they were going to be locked up, they were going to figure out how to get it done. So Patreon took advantage of this. Cameo took advantage of this. OnlyFans, the little porn app, took advantage of a lot of technology took advantage of it. But then there's also like Veep and a couple of others, these organizations that empower musicians and singers and actors and creators and reviewers and pundits and to get paid, communicate and connect with their fan base and be remunerated on an ongoing basis. And there's a self-sufficient creator class that's emerging, and it is spectacular. If you haven't done it or it's not your practice, I would urge you, go to YouTube tonight. You can pony up for the premium version of YouTube because that way you won't have to watch commercials because they suck with commercials really. And it's not that expensive. But type in a subject you're into. Type in Bitcoin, crypto. You can type in piano, fly fishing, as we like to say. You can. It doesn't matter what you type in, whatever you're into. You want to be able to bake babka. It doesn't matter. Whatever your thing is, somebody's got 5 million, 10 million, 20 million views talking about what it is. And if they have views at that count, they may suck, they may not be your taste, or they may be brilliant. And chances are they're brilliant, and clearly they're interesting to someone, but you can just keep dialing it down until you find the level you want to be at. And then you're going to find the people who you connect with. Dollars to donuts, there's either a Patreon button or a link that's going to get you into their world. They're going to pull you to Instagram. There are ecosystems they've built around themselves. I have a bunch of musician friends of mine that are teaching piano, teaching saxophone online, and not one-to-one classes like my dad used to teach in the music store. Real live, no kidding, well thought out class, structured classes, interactive. Some are doing it with text as an adjunct. Some are doing it on Zoom. Some are doing it in combination. A lot of them are doing PDF downloads to incentivize. They're giving away a certain amount of free content so that they're like freemium models on YouTube. And I've been helping some of my friends do this because it's what people needed during the pandemic. But I've got musician friends who would ordinarily be playing Broadway, would ordinarily be playing studio gigs, would ordinarily be out on the road, that are making what they made from their houses now, able to actually replace the income they lost directly with fans because they're creating something of real value that people are interested in. It's amazing. This is an emerging creator class. We have not seen this ever. We've just never seen it. Johann Sebastian Bach was a church organist. That's how he made his living. And on the side, to supplement his money, he repaired organs. He was an organ repair guy. Bach, possibly the greatest composer of all time from a musical mind perspective. Mozart, constantly asking his friends for money. Now, he did make some money. He just liked to spend it. So we're not going to call him a pauper, but he was still constantly not flush. And Beethoven, I don't think Beethoven, whom some people regard as the greatest composer that ever lived, I don't know if I would say that, but he's certainly he's in my top 5. He wasn't poor, but he wasn't rolling in cash. All of these individuals relied on patrons. They relied on the kindness of the court or the kindness of a monarch, but no one went direct. Mozart did a little direct to consumer, rented a theater and did a little direct to consumer. He was a real performer. So was Beethoven, real performer. So was Bach. Bach was in about church and writing every week. Now, he didn't really play out. It wasn't like you're going to a Bach concert. It wasn't what was happening. So yeah, David Hull, Leonardo da Vinci, fully funded by a duke. Throughout history. And by the way, years ago, 98, I think I did it. Yeah, I wrote a piece called Anthem for the Parsons Dance Company in 1998, used the London Symphony Orchestra, conducted it out at Abbey Road in London. And it was put on by the Philip Morris Company, by an endowment from the Philip Morris Company. There was no way in the universe that anyone was paying for this without, and American Express kicked in too, as I remember. It was expensive, and there were 2 giant corporations that paid for it. David Parsons could never have fielded a season of dance, of modern dance, on his own. There's just not enough ticket money to be made. And certainly to commission a composer at my level at that time to write a piece, that wasn't going to happen without somebody writing a check. And to buy the London Symphony Orchestra for the 3 days I needed them, it wasn't going to happen without somebody writing a check. So, you go to the Philharmonic now. Without American Express, there is no Philharmonic. You go to the Met. There are corporate sponsors. All of this stuff is patronized. It's all sponsored by lovers of the art. Ballet, you go down the list. Doesn't matter what it is. First time in history. I mean, to me, it's a big deal. Someone who's got some talent on their own can express themselves, make me feel what they feel, and I have a way to pay them, and they have a way, even if they know nothing about technology, they have an opportunity to connect with me in a financial way. And I think that's amazing. Jonathan Carmel just wrote, yet Beeple sells for an NFT for $69 million. That, by the way, is 100% true. But for every Beeple that gets sold, there are 100 million people out there who are talented and have something to say and something to express that's meaningful and would enrich the world, and they can't do it because there's not enough money in it for them to support themselves. And here we've got a way for people to have a hobby that actually pays a little money. And I kind of like that. I don't kind of like it. I like it. I just do. All right. Shameless plug, because it's time for the shameless plug. Shameless plug. Yesterday on all Tuesdays, our new podcast, Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett, launched. This week, it's about crypto for sure. And Tom Herman, I'm so sorry. I'll interrupt my own promo. Yes, we've decided that it's YouTube, and YouTube now. And I apologize for that, but we were using Restream. And on a day I needed Restream to be awesome, they were not. Let me finish my promo and we'll talk about it. So anyway, Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett is wherever popular podcasts are. Apple, of course, and Google Podcast, of course. Spotify, we love the guys on Spotify. And Amazon through Audible, which is interesting. I didn't know that. Underdog is the distributor. They're doing a great job distributing. Seth is producing, and he is a genius at this stuff. The podcasts are fun. They're a half hour long. Not going to hurt you. This week's about crypto. We have a lot of fun doing it. We're dropping them every Tuesday. I hope you'll take a moment and listen. I'd love it if you did. That would be great. So yeah, Restream. So anyway, on a day I really needed, and I'm talking Thomas Herman really needed Restream to work on all platforms. You guys know what went on 2 weeks ago, and it was evil. I've deleted those hours because there's no way in the world that's even on brand for me. It sounded like I was on Quaaludes, and not good ones. And it would slow down and it would speed up and slow down and speed up, and none of the streams were happening. Now, the night before, as I think everyone who's a follower knows, the night before, I had a computer crash that was like the gremlins came out of the wires and ate my PC. And literally ate it. It was i7 9700 10th gen with a 2080 Ti card in it, and it's 8 terabytes of solid state drive and 48 gigabytes of RAM. It was a fine little computer, less than 6 months old. It just blew up. Boom. And of course I had live stream the next day, but I had like stuff to do the next day. I being the crazy psycho that I am, I had an identical computer to it sitting on this desk. That's in fact the computer that blew up. I've unblown it up, but that's the one that blew up. Right now it's mining crypto for us, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But that computer that's sitting over there, it wasn't Sparks, but it was as close to dead. So the computer I'm on right now, I literally forced myself to rebuild it overnight. And I got a healthy respect for what it is to tweak a computer up from zero to this in what was about 6 hours, because a lot of stuff I had tweaked and installed. And then the next day I did the live stream and it blew up, and I was like, man, this sucks. What I thought it was me. I just assumed, because I had done all of this work, and we do that much work. Could it be right? Like, did I get it right? Is that possible? And the answer is, I don't know. So, so the question is, well, did I do it right? And I don't know the answer. So I'm scared, but I see this completely destroyed stream, and I'm thinking, wow, it looked good going out of here. Now, what you guys don't know is I've got a pretty sweet setup here. I don't know if you've seen the setup, but it's like, there's a pretty big set of monitors here, and there's you can see the computer in the background, and then there's but I usually have a full dashboard. I don't right now because I don't like the reflection of my glasses, but I usually have a full dashboard of the entire thing going. I don't need to do it now because I don't even need stream health, right? I can come here to YouTube and I can see the stream is healthy. I don't need to do anything. It's very clear that the stream health is excellent. I've got a big green dot, and that the green dot is really all I need to know that you guys are good. But when I was doing the Restream thing, I had every stream monitored and they all look perfect going out of here. All the different bit rates, everything was good. Restream was getting what it needed. But I still assumed it was me. And then I went back and I looked over the entire set of analytics and I was like, man, it ain't me. It's those guys. So I made a phone call to find out exactly what that meant. And what I learned made my blood boil. So yeah, anyway, end of day, end of story. I am done with Restream forever. I do have my own Linux RTMP server that is actually spun up in that box. That box back there, that one, that's the old computer. So I've got that running. Right now I'm mining some Ether, but I do have a multi RTMP server that we can spin up. And then I will go back, Tom, and I will do Twitch and we will do Facebook Live and we won't be able to do LinkedIn Live unless I can get someone on the phone there, because they don't publish a stream key to individuals. You have to make a deal with them and be a Restream or an aggregator. They don't have individual keys. And TikTok for 10 seconds was going to do it, and then they didn't. So I'd love to go live on TikTok, but I don't have a way to get a stream key from them at the moment. So that is the Restream story for those who have asked. Yeah, it was no fun. No fun in Mudville, no fun ever, no fun at all. But I can tell you about some fun, though, because I do want to actually just take 1 second to talk to you about something that I think is awesome. And that is our online networking salons. I think a lot of you are salon goers. Every Monday through Thursday, we do education. We do a salon. We do education tech on Mondays, 11:05 to 11:30. ShellyPalmer.com/salons is where you go. You're going to meet some people. You'll learn a little, teach a little. You'll have a little bit of fun. It's really the water cooler. And we talk about ed tech on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we talk about leading edge tech. It's one of my favorite days personally because it's stuff I like. We go into breakout rooms. Big fun, super big fun. And yeah, so anyway, you guys should definitely join us. Leading Edge Tech on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I am super proud. My daughter, Alexis, who is our Executive Vice President of Client Services and Events, had an idea a few weeks back. First of all of these were her idea, so let me give credit where credit's due. It was Alexis who thought up the salons to begin with. We just executed them. But she got an idea that she should do Women Championing Women, or what we call internally Women Crushing Wednesdays. They've had a couple of weeks of this now, and I was eavesdropping this morning, though I wasn't in attendance. And wow, they did such a good job. And I think people are really happy. And so Women Championing Women, they're bringing guest moderators. They're doing it in a really nice way. And if you are, they talk leadership, and it's not exclusively women, but there's a lot of, it's more about female empowerment and good leadership, I think, than anything else. So men are allowed to join, but, we're not discouraging anyone from joining, but if this is a subject you're interested in, we've got nothing but rave reviews. Alexis has done an amazing job. Proud dad moment. And then on Thursday is my absolute favorite salon of the week, technology, media, and marketing. It's what I love. I didn't have to look up the questions Simon was asking. I didn't have to, it's like, this is like, I study it. I live it. The TV business, the media business, technology, media, marketing is where we live. So it's always the biggest salon. We always go into breakout groups, and you're more than welcome to join us. ShellyPalmer.com/salons. Please come down, hang out with us. I think you'll really like it. We have so much fun putting it on, and yeah, I mean, you just come and hang out with us. I think you'll really like it. So your questions, if you have them, please ask. Tom Herman, thank you so much. He writes in chat, your ability to live stream so effectively over so many platforms was very impressive. Didn't realize that I was alone on Twitch, but it's cool that you could get such a broad set of platforms. We had 3, 4, 5 people. One day we had like 20 people on Twitch. My problem on Twitch is that I can't promote on Twitch because I'm not there on a regular basis. Twitch is amazing. I watch Twitch at least 10 to 15 minutes every single day. I'm not a gamer. I mean, obviously, but I do love what the young people there are doing. And I'm enthralled and enchanted. And those are real words. and real feelings by what these kids are capable of. I love the fact that it's destination television that's not on television. I love the fact that someone can sit down with Call of Duty or literally any game you could name, and get an audience of 300,000 people watching them practice, not compete. And then there'll be a YouTube channel where people are commenting on the practice session and what people said in chat during that practice session. And these amazing ecosystems evolve. And just following those threads and getting an understanding of the culture that's evolved on Twitch, it's fantastic. And so I'm not part of that culture. I could do a talk show there, a late night talk show, but I need to go on every night. And I need to really, probably the thing I would, if I was going to really do Twitch right, and this isn't going to happen, I probably would take a camera, like take the setup I'm sitting at right now. I put my piano keyboard here and I just play tunes all night by request and talk and rap to the people I was talking to. That's the show I would do, because those kinds of shows are what you see a lot of on Twitch. I love to watch them. There's a couple of really talented piano guys. It's not piano bar. I mean, they're playing good stuff. Some guys are teaching, some guys are taking requests. There's one young woman, I don't remember her name. I will get it for next time. She plays songs from video games on piano on request. I heard her do Super Mario, like guy just texted Super Mario Brothers and a version number, and she went for it, and everybody's going, "Oh my God, how'd you get the version number?" It's like amazing. So like, I mean, incredible. A, to know that many video game songs, and B, to be able to play them on piano, which they were never really intended for. So there's great stuff happening on Twitch. We would have to pay attention to it. Like I pay attention to TikTok, you know, it's like today I probably have 100 people watching my video, but we had a 90,000 view TikTok earlier this week, late last week. And, you know, it's like, I'm paying attention to TikTok. I'm trying to understand it. Shelly Palmer 5 is my little TikTok handle. TikTok's its own thing. I know we've talked about it in the past, and we probably should talk about it again. It's really important for you to get solid on TikTok. Whether it's TikTok itself that you care about, or the single channel algorithm, to feel that single channel algorithm do its job to feed you what it thinks you like, you will learn, if you let yourself, you will seriously learn what that is, and how this particular inanimate, non-thinking, non-feeling, artificial intelligence, basically an algorithm that has a set of rules it's following based on, and it's only one job, and it's tuned, and it's constantly retuned with a great feedback loop. Its entire goal structure is just get you to stay on TikTok as long as you can. And then when you hit the hour mark, someone comes on and says, "Hey, you've been on long enough." David Hula asks a very good question. The question he asks is, what about Reels and on Instagram? Their goal is exactly the same, but their methodology is different. Instagram and Facebook and all of the Facebook properties are various channels in a massive database that is built to target advertisers. As Google did years ago, there's one privacy policy. Your data. There's one channel being acted on in TikTok. It's one thing. You can't get distracted from it. There's not a live text chat going on. There's not another channel. You are paying attention to one thing, and the algorithm knows what you're paying attention to. You may be mindlessly scrolling, but you imperceptibly stop or swipe left or swipe right. And that's the feedback loop. Maybe you put your phone down and you let it loop a few times, and that's a mistake. And it actually is smart enough to understand when you make that mistake, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, that's the story, if you will. A couple things I want to talk about today that we haven't covered. And I want to talk a little bit about what it is to mine Ether and Bitcoin and what's happening today. We talked about gas prices. We've talked about them at length. And gas prices are the fees that the miners charge to transact in the cryptocurrency NFT world. And so they were an all-time high this week. So expensive that people were dissuaded from doing certain trades. Not so dissuaded that they weren't buying the coins for speculation. What's the number here? I'm going to look real quick. What we got? Bitcoin's at $61,677 a coin right now, and Ether is at $23.20. So the high gas prices hasn't hurt anybody, really. But it's going to make it impossible. It's going to make it impossible for people to do this, the whole NFT trick, because it's just too expensive. So there are a couple things that happened this week that fascinated me, and one of them was Unique.One, Unique.One's new NFT marketplace on Binance. Now, Binance is a fork of Ethereum. It's a copy of Ethereum, and it uses the Ethereum virtual machine. All of its tokens are interchangeable if you port them over. They're not interoperable. They're interchangeable from a technical standpoint. It's relatively easy to build a system that would allow you to use the technology that you'd crafted for Ethereum on Binance, because it's the same technology. The difference is, though, that all of the Binance coins were mined at once. It was an ICO, an initial coin offering, and they put out a certain number of coins. It's hard to trade Binance in the United States. There are some regulations and rules about doing it. You're not allowed to do it in certain. You can't do it in New York State. They've got a layer 2 solution, and you're going to learn what layer 2 is over time. This layer 2 solution is a different approach to verifying and validating blocks written on the blockchain, and it's cheaper and faster. So you're talking about maybe instead of 15 seconds to write a block, you're talking under 5 seconds. Instead of huge gas prices, you're talking cents as opposed to hundreds of dollars. So you got speed and price, and this NFT marketplace. Unique.One fascinated me because they've got one on Ethereum, which is the classic NFT marketplace. They've got one going on XDAI, which is a stable coin that's pegged to a currency. And then now they have this. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of experiments. There's another company called Matic, MATIC. And those guys are doing a layer 2 solution. We could see NFTs on OpenSea and Rarible and some of the other marketplaces trading on Matic and writing and using the Matic blockchain as early as the end of April, and that will be way cheaper than Ethereum. This is an explosive marketplace. Now the question is, there's really 3 groups, right? You got the speculators that are the finance people that are treating this like a casino, that are causing Bitcoin to be 60-something thousand bucks and Ether to be $2,300. Then you've got the people who are trying to use this to was that Marshall Lippman, Matic now called Polygon. Is that as of like 10 minutes ago? Because I'm on Matic's site right now and I'm looking at the marketplace and it pretty much is Matic. But if you're right, can you just throw the full URL in chat real quick, and let me just see if that's true, because Matic marketplace, matic.opensea.io. Yeah, there's one there. Go to matic.opensea.io. Let me see if I can put this in chat real quick. Let's see if I can put this in chat for you. This is what I'm talking about. This guy's right here. Did that URL get there? Yeah. Try that. This is a level 2 marketplace test from OpenSea, which is the largest NFT marketplace, and Matic. And this is the blockchain that I'm talking about. This particular blockchain is what I'm talking about. So yeah, try that, because that's the solution that's coming in maybe the end of April in a wider way. And here you're going to see much lower gas fees and faster transactions, cheaper transactions. And I mean, that can't happen soon enough, right? There's so much pain and suffering from gas prices right now. It's just really, really too high. I would urge everybody to learn if you can now, to spend this time learning. This isn't going away. It's not. We're in a bubble for sure. I'm not going to tell you we're not in a bubble. We're in a bubble. But there's real opportunity here. Fungible tokens, the ERC20 tokens, the coins, the stable coins, and the coins that float, where the speculators are hanging out. Sure, you go with caution and get some financial advice and learn what you're doing. Creators are going to be able to change the way they do business, and new business models not only are emerging, but will continue to emerge using non-fungible tokens. What are, being batted around as NFTs. And yeah, you're going to get a Beeple that's at $69 million. And, Jack's going to be able to sell his first tweet for $3 million. But that's not what this is. It's not what this is long-term. And if that's all it is long-term, so we'll be wrong, and no harm, no foul. You learn a little technology, but get yourself a wallet, figure out what it is, learn some of the lingo, get comfortable with the early days. It feels so much to me like 94, 95, right in that time zone between AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy and Netscape, like right at that time when the chat rooms have been going on since the 70s, and telenets had been going on since the 70s. AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy were sort of in the whole internet encased in a really walled garden. And I remember a cocktail party, a really, really smart lawyer. And John Carmel, you were there. You were a lot younger. And someone at this cocktail party, your mom's cocktail party, and someone at this cocktail party, I was talking about I was talking about a website. And the very, very smart person, who I will not name, who was a very famous lawyer in the city of New York at the time, high-powered, said loudly enough for more than one person to hear about this website. The question was, is that available on Netscape? Thinking that Netscape was a channel or a walled garden, the way that AOL or Prodigy or CompuServe was. No conception of the World Wide Web, no conception of the internet, no conception of what the playing field looked like, and therefore no intellectual framework to frame the question properly and or to form opinions that would have helped solve some problems or build some value. So I'm saying to you, this is that time in crypto. It's in the hype cycle. I will not deny it. I expect all of these coins to crash hard in some sequence. I don't know what the sequence will be, but in some sequence. And then they're going to come back, and it's going to be great, and you will know stuff. And there are ways to build all kinds of things on the blockchain. There are ways to use distributed ledgers that you will invent, that you should invent, that can be invented, and you can be the one to do it. And you can, it's about educating yourself. Now, you can always find me, Shelly, at shellypalmer.com. Anything you want to ask, anything we can do to help you, please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd absolutely welcome your any opinions you have, things we can do to make your life easier. Please visit our salons. Of course, if you just want to come to the website, shellypalmer.com, and subscribe, we'd love you to do that, to our newsletter, or, just come on by and let us know you're there. If any of you have a Twitter account, it's at Shelly Palmer, just my name. It's not that hard. And I'd love you to tweet something good, something bad, doesn't matter. Just, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. As I tell you every week, this is my favorite time of week. I get to play with all my toys. I get to have the kids applaud, and I get to, play with my, like, hey, look, here's my cool camera, and here's my other cool camera, and I get to do all that stuff, and get to put my pop-ups up, and I get to play and learn my craft a little better every week. And the only way I get to do that is because you're all here. So I really want to thank you and tell you that I hope you have a very, very safe and healthy week. And we will be here next week, Wednesday, 3 o'clock, for another episode of Strategy Hacker Livestream. Please, if you can, Apple or Spotify, Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett. It's a podcast I'm very proud of, and I hope that you'll give us a few minutes to listen and see if it's something that adds some value to your life. And with that, I will thank you so much for being here today. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everyone.